Welcome back to another edition of Force Friday, where we talk about Star Wars theories, characters, concepts, comparisons, analyzations, collectibles, and more. And today we're going to talk about the vintage collection again. It's been a while since we've discussed them, and I think it's time to bring them back up in a specific regard that we haven't really addressed in terms of possible issues that might be facing the line. Now, the last time we talked a lot about how the general approach to the vintage collection is probably not the best one. That they probably should be focusing mainly on the original trilogy and then spicing up their waves with prequel, sequel, and spin-off characters. As of late, I've gotten a fair amount of comments on that video that have suggested that they should do more prequel stuff, which is to be expected. And look, this isn't about what I want. I want them to do all of the trilogies equally, honestly, and spin-offs. But the truth is that the 3 3/4 line, specifically the higher grade quality 3 3/4 line, like the vintage collection, is focusing more on the adult collector. A majority of the adult collectors that happen to be into that line also happen to be original trilogy fans. In my opinion, that's what my sort of temperature check has suggested. So they should cater to their audience. If you take the Black Series, for instance, I think it has a much larger scope with a much higher ratio of prequel to original trilogy fans and with a far greater sequel trilogy fan base than the vintage collection has. So don't get me wrong, anything I bring up today definitely is not superseding this sort of outlook on the vintage collection. By and large, I think the biggest problem the vintage collection action figures face is that they're not playing to their fan base. And I honestly think that B-string, C-string, heck, Z-string original trilogy characters would sell far better in the vintage collection than A-string sequel characters and B-string prequel characters. But that's just my thoughts. But we're going to address this entirely differently because this isn't really about their selection regarding sort of franchise within a franchise. This is more so about what a lot of their reveals have kind of been suggesting to us recently. We're seeing an awful lot of stuff centering around vehicles, play sets, creature stuff that we haven't really seen as much interest in the past. Part of this might have come to fruition from the tremendous success of the sail barge or the lightning fast success of the Razor Crest. But that aside, let's focus more on the general retail elements and see if we can deduct anything from those offerings. In 2018, we see the Imperial Combat Assault Tank at $80. We also see a repack of the Imperial TIE Fighter with the figure also at around $80. Previously released for $40, mind you. Now inflation is real and the costs of plastics do fluctuate, but I'm not sure if they double. In 2019, Jabba's Palace Adventure Set with carded Han Solo and Reese was offered at $50 as a Walmart exclusive. We also saw the Desert Skiff with removable panels, flight stand with desert base for $40. Now they got two out of me with that because I bought the sail barge, and what good is a sail barge, honestly, without a couple of skiffs to flank it? So I got one, and then I smacked myself clearly across the face because I was disappointed I didn't buy another, and then I bought another. I've tried to exercise self-control at certain points in time. I'm just usually not too good at it. I always eat the extra slice of pizza. I can't stop myself from making the inappropriate joke that's just too good to pass up at my wife's work functions, especially those around the holidays. And I went to 3 high schools in 4 years due to behavioral outbursts of a number of varieties. So it's no surprise to me that 2 skiffs ended up flanking my sail barge. In fact, I'm slightly disappointed that I didn't predict that I wouldn't be able to stop myself when I bought the first one. Anyway, enough on the therapy needed for me. We'll move along. We got another repack of Luke Skywalker's X-Wing for $100. That's a 2009 mold, last offered for $60 in 2013. That was a fan channel exclusive. Then, shortly thereafter, we got Poe Dameron's X-Wing at $100. We got a repaint of an AT-ST Raider with Klatooinian for $80, and that was a 2009 Legacy Collection mold, last offered in 2012 for $35 without the figure as a Best Buy exclusive. Let's move on to 2020. We got an Imperial Troop Transport for $70. This was a fan channel exclusive. We got a repack Slave 1 with base for $150. Last offered in 2013 for $70 without a base. as an Amazon exclusive. We got the Bespin Freezing Chamber with Stormtroopers at $50 as a fan channel exclusive. We got a repack of the Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca and Hondo for $400, last offered in 2012 for $250 as a Target exclusive. And we're getting the Tantive 4 diorama with the Rebel Fleet Trooper for $50 through fan channel. 4 all-new vehicles, 1 exclusive, with 5 repacks, 4 of which are exclusive, and 2 all-new playsets with repacked figures, most of which being offered at a price almost 100% increase from the last time they were offered. Buy it and flip it and double it. Buy it and flip it and double it. So what could all of this potentially be suggesting in regard to the vintage collection and their vehicles and playsets and the like? One might take away that the amount of vehicles and playsets, coupled with the lack of new figures and number of exclusive figures, i.e. the new Incinerator Trooper, why is that exclusive, suggest the money for Hasbro is in the vehicles and playsets and anything that allows a higher MSRP, especially when you don't have to reinvent the mold, so to speak, to produce it. When you're offering things with minor retooling, perhaps different paint apps and different packaging at a price that's far greater than what you offered it for the first time, and basically taking one hand, putting it over the fist, and grabbing all of the money in the process. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In fact, I'm saying it's kind of a good thing. There's a lot of people that have missed out on a lot of those vehicles over time, and it gives them an opportunity to get them. Now, to be fair, they got to pay double the price for them, but that's kind of the name of the game, isn't it? It's almost as if Hasbro's created their own eBay and used mainstream retail as their platform to offer for you to purchase it on. But at least you get the opportunity to get it. And it does help skew the supply-demand in regard to the aftermarket. But the question then becomes, so, if I'm understanding this properly, if I have an X-Wing that I can make a few slight adjustments to, a few slight paint application differences, mainly taking the gray paint out of this, adding the dark gray paint into that, etc., get a photographer to take new pictures of it, slap it on a new cardboard box, probably made out of recycled materials, grab a couple twist ties and throw that thing together and get it out to mass retail and then charge you double for it. What's my take on that? What's the cost benefit, the over-under on all that? Because from the outside looking in, it looks like a very low investment with a very high payoff. Now, and real quick, we're not doubling a $10 thing. We're doubling a $40 thing, $50 thing, $200 thing. We're doubling big money. The double back receipt on a $10 to $20 flip is a lot different than that of the $40 to $80 flip. Now let's reverse it, flip it, bop it, switch it, hit it, reverse, and ask, what's the investment for one new vintage collection figure? How about 2? Let's say a 2-pack of the female twins from the Cantina that everybody wants. For a new mold, we can probably double the engineering, so no cost there. New paint application systems. The packaging is laid out, but we do have to add our art to it. So we'll eliminate those prices and put it out to retail at $15 a pop, or in a 2-pack for probably $40. Don't get me wrong, they're still making their profit margin, I'm sure. But how many of those sell versus a Millennium Falcon? And what's the over-under on investment versus take on the entire product release? And that's why I'm suggesting that perhaps with everything we've seen regarding the vintage collection as of late, they need to rake in some dollars, or they just see where the money is, and as a result, might dictate where the future is going. Hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys are staying sane. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.